What's a common piece of property advice that you strongly disagree with?
There's a lot. Most people take that as buy where you live. They think they know it. I've even seen some other property companies, some buyer's agents, where they unashamedly Sydney only. I think that should be illegal because it's really naive. It's been the worst market in Australia for the last 6 years and the lowest rental return, highly negatively geared. I don't buy units. That's an enormous myth. The myth of houses growing more than units. It's impossible for a house to keep growing more than a unit, especially when you look at total return, which is growth plus rent. The long-term average over 50 years is exactly the same, or within 0.1%. It's just normally houses go first and then units play catch up. Houses go again, units play catch up. You might get slightly more growth in the long-term average of houses, but you get quite a bit less rental return on houses than units. If you add those two together, total return, long-term average, almost identical, but you've got to get in the right cycle. If houses are starting to boom, they've normally got a good rental return, they're better for 7-ish years. But then the price difference gets big, then 5 to 7 years later, units will have a way higher return. Units have had, in every market in Australia, every capital city in the last 3 years, about 30 to 50% higher total return than houses in almost every market.
Really?
Well, the opposite was true during COVID, especially during COVID with lockdown. Where did people want to live during lockdown? In a bigger house, especially with a backyard. So we had this disproportionate and irregular extra demand on houses, and they got way more expensive than units for a few years.
Yeah.
But then the opposite has been happening. Then units have been playing catch up now. We're not in lockdown. People now, they're starting to go, oh, actually, I've got to work in the city and need to live close to the city now. That's all I can afford as a unit.
When you are looking at, let's say you pick Brisbane or you pick Adelaide, are you looking at properties in the city centre, or do you think that since COVID, with modern technology, that it's more the peripheral 10Ks out?
Yeah, that's already happened. Absolutely, there was a decentralisation when most people had to work from home, and then they could work from even further from their normal home in regional areas. A lot of people did that tree change or move to a coastal area further away from the city, but then the opposite started to happen when businesses started to say that we can't have this working from home all the time, and people needed to start to get close to the city in general. But there's a cycle. That was a bit of an irregular thing, COVID. Most say it's a 1 in 100 year event. You don't want to do too much planning for a 1 in 100 year event. You want to focus on all the other things first, but normally there is a cycle in the city, especially a big city like Sydney or southeast Queensland. Typically the boom starts in the high value area, normally city centre, and the high value coastal or waterfront areas of the harbour. And literally there is a real ripple. They grow by 5 or 10% more, then what happens to the suburb next door to them? Then that grows really straight after, then the next one grows, and the next one grows. The ripple effect is real, and we track it. In fact, we're building this thing called the Ripple Radar. You can track the ripple like that. And we've tracked it manually for about 15 years now through suburb data. I track Sydney, the city boom first, and then out to the coastal areas, and then the boom moves kind of up Northern Beaches, through Central Coast and up in Newcastle, then west into the Hunter Valley, and then kept going north from there. The ripple is real, and you can track it, and you should. There's waves on waves in property markets, and you can ride all three of those together, and that's kind of the holy grail.
How do you narrow down all of this data you're getting to be able to manage your clients' investments, the recommendations you're making within the team? Where do you get your research from? How do you decide what's relevant and what's not?
One is you just do it all day, every day with a team. You can't do all of this on your own. We've got a Doctor of Economics in-house, and that's been a dream of mine for about 15 years, to be able to afford an in-house full-time research capability that's highly skilled. With a lot of my street experience and his university teachings and learnings and his practical experience as well, that's his job all day, every day.
But that's no property investment companies doing that, are they?
I don't know another one that has a Doctor of Economics in-house.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of one other that has an economist in-house. Most like we used to be, where you'd buy research from other sources. And we still do that from, it used to be called Biz Shrapnel, now they're called Biz Oxford Economics. We get a lot of the Australian Bureau of Statistics data from them, the capital city and lots of other data sets. Then you get it from RP Data, which is CoreLogic, SQM Research, Residex, a bunch of them. And we call ourselves a tertiary research house, where we'll reanalyse all the raw data and another research